Now we're going to talk about creating a CD. In other words, we're going to close out the whole process, create the CD, and it is going to be ready for client delivery. The way that we do this is we know that we have a working area that we had that was called demo, and then we move the stuff into a final CD, but we've got to finalize it in a way that is completely deliverable. So I've created a new one. We're going to call that 2007. I'm going to search for it, and we call it Happy Cues Volume 2. Okay, we're going to select a client that we're going to do this for. I know that the prefix that I use for this client is STO. It could be any kind of prefix that is client dependent based upon what my collection is supposed to say. So what I look for now is I get a starting sequence number. Okay, because Studio 51 has delivered to STO in that particular collection at that client, we know that the starting number is number 1204. So we have 1203 titles there already. Okay, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to sequence the opportunity. Now, before we do that, I want to explain something. We're only moving one cue here. But if this were a completed CD with 15 cues, this will happen on 15 different occasions. Okay, so we have our first song called Happy Cue. Happy Cue is going to come up. I think that was the name of it. It's going to come up, and it's going to be STO 1204. All of its stems, 1, 11, 12, and whatever, all the stems are going to be named STO 1204. You'll see how that works. Now, if there were 15 cues in there, the next cue, and it would go by title, would start over again at 1205. So this is a sequence. It will sequence the numbers by the title of the piece of music, not by the file. So it's smart. It understands that Happy Cue or Happy, whatever the title of that, I forgot what the title was actually, it knows that that's 1204 and that all its stems are 1204. If I have another one after that that says Caribbean Pride, it would say that that's number 1205 and all of its stems would be 1205. So let's go ahead and sequence this opportunity. Once we sequence it, we will get a message that tells us exactly what has happened. Now, the longer the sequencing is, the longer this takes. This is a lot of processing going on. It's checking to make sure that all the stems are accounted for, that everything's there, and it's going to come back and give us a final message as soon as it's completed. And here's the message. Requested opportunity sequencing completed. Okay, we started at 1204 and we ended at 1204. Now we can go ahead and generate the metadata. Now this can be client dependent metadata, which it actually is. Okay? And when we look at it, there's no missing stems. I need to allow something to occur here. It's just showing the metadata that's in there, the original metadata. Now let's go look and see what the sequenced metadata looks like. Now it looks a little different. Remember before it had 157 underscore? Well, if you look at it now, here are the actual file names. STO 1204 underscore 01 underscore my great Q. Okay, that's the name of the file. Okay, now as I mentioned before, we would have started off with an MP3 that matches up to Happy Ad. Okay, but we know that the track title is Happy Ad. We know there's a full version, full instrumental, and all of the information we saw before. But what's important about this sequence is it set that up. Now, if we had another cue, it would come out looking like this. it would come out looking like this. Okay, the next cue would say 1201, 1205, take one, my cue, which we know would be the full version, and it would go down and it would have 1205, at least 1205, 11, 12, and 7. Okay, so all of these would come in to show exactly what they are. Okay, and if I had 15 in there, it would go from 1205 to 1219, or 1204 to 1219. Okay, so all of these would be sequentially put into the metadata template, and if I look at the file names, the actual files, they are titled exactly like this. This is important when you're dealing with a lot of files at one time. It sequences them. You don't have to manually rename them. Okay, again, you know, I should have in the beginning of this tape named this track My Great Cue, my mistake. Okay, but it will make this happen the way you want it to happen. Now the CD is ready for delivery. You've got the downloaded metadata. You've got the files in WAV format with the proper names on them. The project is complete.